like so mind-boggling. And we're live. Hi, folks. Welcome to another day of the Daily Antidote of Song, day 1055. Thank you, Carolyn and Boise, for the big sign. It's great to see you all. I'm Jaden. I'm hosting today, and we have a great day for you. First of all, hello to everybody watching on Facebook Live. Can everybody help me wave them? Welcome them in. Thanks for tuning in today. And a big hello to everybody in the room. Hi, Joe Rossi. Thanks for being here and making this possible. Hello, Greg Greenway. Thank you for being today's artist. Can't wait to hear more from you very soon. Hi, Susan in Seattle. Good to see you. Hello, Anne in Nashville. Welcome, Dory and Ollie. Hello, Carolyn in Boise. Good to see you, Sarah in Texas. Bob and Mabel and the Bears in Massachusetts. Hi. Hello, Hoda in BC. Welcome. And Bob and Christiana in Rockville, I believe. And Mama and Papa Curly Top, that's Don and Liana. Thanks for being here. Hi, Jean in Pittsburgh. Hello, Arlene in Berkeley, and Pauline in Newcastle in the UK. Welcome, Willard, and maybe Alice May if she's around. Hi, Becky. Thanks for being here. Hello, Kevin in DC. Welcome, Harriet Dart. Good to see you, Kathy in Virginia, and Sheila in Florida, Leah in Illinois. Good to see you today. Hi, Jim in New York City, Deborah in Kentucky, Bonnie in Boise. Good to see you. And Sarah in Massachusetts. Welcome. Hello, Luda in Victoria, BC, Fred in Silver Spring, Amanda and Miles in Michigan. Good to see you. Hi, Bronwyn in Victoria, BC, Gary Pausner. Good to see you today. Hello, Storm. Hello, Aloysius in Westford, Massachusetts. Hi, Deli in Silver Spring, Carol in Connecticut, Linda on Orcas Island, Annette in California, Nancy Schimmel, good to see you today, and Priscilla Tennell, thanks for being here, Loriana, Katrina, and Courtney. And in Silver Spring, see that you're joining. Thank you for being here today. Hi. Hi, Penny and Ralph in Victoria. Martha, thank you for joining today. And also, thank you, Sandy in Western North Carolina, Caroline in DC, Lynn, thank you all for joining, Field and Nancy N, and Marcia Dale, Linda Rose, and Phil Hogg. Thanks for joining. It's a beautiful Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yeah, so let's just get started. We were going to have Reggie Harris, but he's experiencing some technical difficulties. So instead, we have his very close and wonderful friend, Greg Greenway. He's a multi-instrumentalist, a folk musician, and he's one half of Deeper Than the Skin. Yes. Which is a project with him and Reggie Harris. And he does all kinds of educational musical work that is really about opening hearts. And we're so glad to have him here today. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you. Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you here. And what song are you going to share today?
Very special song called That's Where the Hope Comes From. It's a song from my upcoming CD that I got to sing with Reggie Harris and Pat Wichter in the studio. So it's something I can't wait to teach you.
Awesome. Yeah, we can just get started.
So I can teach you now. Okay. So one of the advantages of singing this song with Pat Wichter is he was a New York City school teacher early in his life. And I always say to him, Pat, who better than you to give me an F? This song is in F. It's a cappella, just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone. Okay, that's the beginning. I'm going to do it again. It happens every time. There's only 3 verses. There's one kind of instrumental verse, so I'm going to play a melodica, this thing. And for that, and during that, you can ooh or do whatever you want because it's kind of a community song. So, just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone. And then the verse, each verse starts with something like, first one is, oh, my heart is broken. The next one is, oh, my feet are tired. Oh, my hands are weary. And the last one is, oh, my voice is faltering. So we're going to sub that in. So it'll be just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my heart is broken. The work is never done. Okay, that couplet has a rhyme that goes with the body part. So, and then after that, and you have the lyrics, so you'll get that. And then this happens the same way every time but once, just because I need to be a little taciturn or perverse. So just to mess with you. Most of the time it goes, you could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun. Okay? You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun. And then, but your heart is still beating, beating. That's where the hope comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from. So that's the sort of section, and there are four of them, four. It's heart, feet, hands, and then voice. So let's do that whole first one again, and then I'll run the song. Okay, all right, so show me by nods. Is this working? Do you need, okay, everybody's getting it? Man, am I happy to see so many people from Victoria, BC out there, because I may have seen you on other broadcasts, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, so we do this. Just a little bit of hope, everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my heart is broken. The work is never done. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun, but then your heart is still beating, beating. That's where the hope comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my feet are tired. The race is barely run. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun, but then my feet, they start moving, moving. That's where the hope comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my hands are weary. The work is never done. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun, but then my hands, they start working, working. That's where the hope comes from. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my voice is faltering. The song is barely sung. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the rising sun. Well, then the people start to singing, singing. That's where the hope comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from. Well, then the people start to singing, singing. That's where the hope comes from. Well, then the people start to sing, and that's you. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, that is such
Oh,
a like uplifting song. And also touches on the ways that like the fight gets tiring. It's very honest and truthful, but like has that sort of spark that
yeah.
helps us keep going, I think. So that's wonderful.
Well,
Could you tell us a little bit more about this
yeah.
song?
Well, this was inspired, and I have to thank Reggie once again because he invited me onto a broadcast of the Living Legacy Project, and they did a live stream, and they had me sing a song or two, and then they had a woman named Flonzie Brown Wright from Mississippi who was this year 80 years old, and she told her story, and she's the first African American woman elected to state office in the state of Mississippi, and what an incredible story she is on her own, and I encourage you to look it up. But the story she told was when Medgar Evers was assassinated. She was living in California. She'd moved away from Mississippi. Well, this brought her back because she felt like, how in my little home county can someone be shot down in their driveway in front of their wife and children? And so she came back to be a part of what was happening to change that. And it didn't take long because Medgar Evers' brother, Charles, called her and said, you are now the head of the NAACP in your town. And oh, by the way, Dr. King is going to call you because he needs housing for 3,000 people because we're going to do a march. And from that moment on, at the age of 20, she was in deep into the civil rights movement. And so for her whole life, and if you go to her website, it will tell you that when she moved back to her county at the age of 22, she tried to register to vote and got a very, very typical story from then. A guy with an 8th grade education was sitting there, a white man was sitting there. You know, she had to fill out a questionnaire. It had the first 16 questions were answered by white people. And then there was this whole bunch of other questions that were answered by black people. And some of them you must have heard famously, you know, how many bubbles are in a bar of soap, how many grains of sand on a beach, impossible to answer questions. And then at the end, you drew out of a bowl a piece of paper, and it was a part of the Mississippi State Constitution. And then you were supposed to interpret that for this guy with an 8th grade education in front of her. So she's just started asking him all kinds of questions, and he got really irritated. He called her the N-word, said, get out of my office, you didn't pass the test. So at that point in her life, she walked out and said, I'm going to be in his chair. I'm going to win that office. And she did. She replaced him. And so at that point in the story of Mississippi and her county, there were 10,000 eligible black voters, and there were only 100 represented, actually enrolled. And that's the way it was in that time. And so she has registered thousands upon thousands of people to vote in the state of Mississippi as the head of the elections committee. And that may not be the correct title, but she held the position that man held, and then she moved on to bigger things. So in the broadcast, she told her story, and there was a Q&A at the end, and somebody said to her, Ms. Brown Wright, did you ever just get so tired that you wanted to quit? And she said, without hesitation, she said, every night. I wanted to quit every night. But every morning I woke up and I had made a promise to myself that I was going to be a part of the solution. And so for all these years, every morning when the sun comes up, Flonzie Brown Wright puts her shoes on and goes to work. And so I thought at a time when, in a previous administration and a darker time, there wasn't a lot of hope at the time, you know, and I needed access to hope. And I just felt like, boy, you know, what I face on a daily basis is nothing, is fractional compared to what folks like Flonzie Brown Wright have had to go through. And so, strangely enough, I was out mowing the lawn and this song came to me. So I knew it was going to be a cappella. But that's where the hope comes from for all of us when we're willing to put our shoes on and go to work.
Mm. Oh, wow. Thank you. I mean, that story is just fantastic. um, for so many reasons, like every night, every night. But yeah, it's like if she can do it, I think maybe the rest of us can do it too. I definitely understand why you want to put that into a song. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it takes special people. And the longer you go through this and the more people you talk to, you realize how many selfless people whose names you don't know spent their
Mm,
lives working for a change that they knew they would never see in their lifetime. And we won't ever see, and maybe not in mine, maybe not in yours, um, we won't see the change we want. Because as we all know, for every surge of progress, there's a pushback,
yep.
and
Yep.
we're living in a huge pushback. This whole, let's just talk Florida politics. They can't go on a media outlet without saying the word woke. And usually
Mm,
it's with some disparaging thing put around it. Now, when has knowledge been so dangerous? You know,
mm,
only when the establishment needs to control the information. And so you can imagine what it must have been like for somebody, to every day face that possibility that your life was on the line when you went to register to vote. Was that
mm,
right? No. You know it's totally wrong, and you know that you're right, but it doesn't matter. This is the same thing that Nelson Mandela sat in prison cell for 27 years thinking, I'm right. They're wrong. And finally, the world knows.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so much to say there, but I think it's really inspiring to know that there's people who are like understand that they're not going to see the change in their lifetime, not the real change that we need. It's little every day, and the fact that people make that promise and get up every day and like keep doing it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's what it takes.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and it also, there's another sidecar to this, and that
Mm,
is it's not enough to just say, I'm not racist or I don't hate anybody. It's not enough to do that because that is just allowing the status quo to continue. No,
mm,
you have to take steps to do something about it. And that's the only way it's going to change. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You might have to give up some comfort. But in the end, you know, there's some big words that it took thousands of years to put into a constitution. Things like, justice, freedom, equality. Those things have meant something different to every generation of Americans. But for those words, which are the power of America, by the way, that's the strength of America. For those words to have any validity, we have to hold them up.
absolutely. Thank you for saying that. And sorry, I'm making faces. My dog is barking, but it wasn't faces at you.
I
Um,
think your dog agrees with me.
I I think she does. I think she does. But I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like we are born in, if you live in the United States, at least you're born into a world of white supremacy, and so it is our responsibility to unlearn that and do everything we can in the name of anti-racism. Um, and that's definitely something we strive for in this room. But it's a constant uh, project that you have to do on yourself. It's a ongoing process. And I know that you've done a lot of that work. I want to uplift the project that you do with Reggie, Deeper Than the Skin, which is
Yes.
really about a very like humanizing way of talking about race and how people who are very different can be in relationship with each other. I mean, from what I understand about the project.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because my brother Reggie is not able to be on, I'm going to quote him, and it's
Mm, yeah.
something that he got in a workshop, and he just said that guilt is the glue that holds prejudice in place. But he
Mm-hmm.
also says that human beings are wired for story and song, and no one is going to be willing to change until they feel heard. And so it's so important that we hear people's stories. So when Reggie and I learned about it, I mean, Reggie and I were born 3 days apart. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
me in the capital, ex-capital of the Confederacy, Richmond, Virginia,
Right.
raised
Yeah.
raised in the shadow of the statues, raised in the lost cause. We played Yankees and Rebels. We didn't play Cowboys and Indians. And I always wanted to be a Southern general because they were smarter. That's how it was taught to me. Reggie, born in Philadelphia, we found out that his ancestry literally came from a plantation just outside of Richmond. His great 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 grandfather was a Confederate brigadier general. He was married to a cousin of Robert E. Lee, just steeped in Southern aristocracy. And that head of that family had 5 children with an enslaved woman, and from that came Reggie's family. So our DNA came through that teeny little portal in the world. Imagine this. I mean, I had my DNA done, by National Geographic, which takes you all the way back 50,000 years. And the way I say it sometimes in Deeper Than the Skin is it took me 50,000 years to find my brother. We
Oh,
all are related. We all started there, but somehow in the walking around, it got like this. So Reggie and I tell our story. We met after all of that. The odds of us, meeting. We met in the green room at the Village Gate in Manhattan and Greenwich Village at a Phil Oakes song night, and we started talking, and it took about a nanosecond for us to start talking about race.
mm,
Um, and so from then on, the conversation has been happening. But when we found out that we were born 3 days apart and that Reggie's ancestry literally comes from the same place mine did, that's when we realized that if we told our story, it's sometimes it's almost the subliminal. It's the fact that a white man and a black man are standing on stage and they obviously love and respect each other.
mm.
There's nobody in this world I'd rather sing with than Reggie. So something happens when we do. And just that's the bottom line. That's the visceral content of what we do. But we tell our stories and how we came together. And in so doing, we hope to encourage everyone to think their story through. And in so doing, realize the things that they are emotionally attached to. Because we can be frozen by our past. We can be afraid of it. We can be ashamed of it. We can be persecuted by it. But as James Baldwin said, history is not the past. We are our history. We are it. It is all in us. And so who's going to make the news story? Because somebody will. So
Mm.
are we going to participate in making the news story? So, and encouraging people to think about their own story and then telling ours and showing the fact that we love and respect each other, that this can happen from people born in 2 completely different narratives, that this gives them an impetus to reach out outside of their comfort zone to somebody who's not like them necessarily. And that life will present you with an opportunity. And it's the relationships you foster that will change you and them and the world. So
That's really, it's really beautiful.
this is
Thank you
what
for
we
doing
do.
that.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. This is what Deeper Than the Skin is all about. And we do the question and answer at the end, and we get asked
Mm,
all kinds of questions about it. And Reggie's experience is, of course, vastly different than mine. As a
sure.
white male, I could quit the whole thing and just walk away, and my life wouldn't appreciably change. Except for the fact is that the truth of it is that we're in this together,
Yeah.
and I want to be a part of that togetherness of the future, not in the separate of the past.
Well, and the fact is that white supremacy affects all of us, like white people included. And so it's really an empowering thing to do to say, yeah, I'm going to participate in the undoing of oppressive institutions. So
Yeah.
um, that's, yeah, and to do it through song and storytelling. And I think it's also very special that that's the way that you and Reggie came together,
Yeah.
is through
Oh,
song. And that's part
truly.
of how you tell your story. Yeah.
That in sports.
Totally.
This song is a part of a new CD that I'm making, and it's called Between Hello and Goodbye. And one of the songs on it really borrows some of the lyrics from Sam Cooke, "Change is Gonna Come," because we sing that song in Deeper Than the Skin. But one of the things, just to address what you were just saying,
Mm.
is I talk about how I was inside that lost cause story, but the chorus says it's a big wide world for all to see beyond these walls built inside of you and me, where half of the story was raised to an art. That was my past. But no lie can live forever without killing your heart. No lie
Mm.
can live forever. This is a line from Dr. King's speech in Montgomery when he says, "How long? Not long. because no lie can live forever. And the idea that if you are living a lie, in the end, it's killing your heart. It's killing your believability. It's killing your morality. So a lot of white people don't understand that when you carry hate or when you carry that prejudice, what it does to you.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Um, Absolutely. And I also, this is like, I think we could talk about this for hours. I do want to give a little space for you to talk more about your new album, which features Reggie.
Yep.
And yeah, so how's that going?
Well, I literally just approved the final, artwork, the graphics at Oasis CD, where I'm getting it done. And it will be released to the world on March 31st. You can go to my website and order in advance. You just have to go to my music store, and there'll be a pull-down menu, and it says Between Hello and Goodbye, and it gives you a chance to order it in advance so that I will mail it to you as soon as I get it. But the album itself is very autobiographical and very, very influenced just by the fact that, as you've already heard, by my participation with Reggie in Deeper Than the Skin, and with the things we've done as part of the Living Legacy Project. So the songs, it's amazing how my life has touched on events. I lived most of my life in the Boston area, and I have now moved. Love made me do it. That's a whole nother story, another song on the record. But I now live in Ashland, Virginia. And in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017, Robert E. Lee statue was the flashpoint for the white nationalist movement. Now, my wife was at that, and a lot of my friends were at that. I was not. I was with Brother Sun in Canada at a festival at the time, trying to explain to Canadians what the hell was going on in America. And then 1 year later in Washington, D.C., the alt-right wanted to do another demonstration. I don't know if you remember this, but maybe you in the Washington, D.C. area will remember that only 24 of them showed up, but 10,000 people showed up to shout them down. And I've never been prouder to be in a group of 10,000 people than that. My wife and I were both there. So that's a song on the record. It's called Another Day. And it starts with the idea that in 1943, my dad went to Europe to put an end to fascism. And he would have never believed to see it pop up 70 miles away in Charlottesville and 90 miles away in D.C., and that it's being encouraged for political expediency. So the record carries that, but it also carries a lot of joy, like in that song, just a little bit of hope. At the end of that day of singing in the studio with Reggie and Pat, we were laughing and smiling because this is the thing that music does for me, is it carries heavy topics with uplift and with hope. It sort of stems from a reading of a proverb from a native culture in the plains. I can't remember exactly which one, but they said, if you can sing about something, you have power over it. And so to me, if you can sing about it, it means you still have that hope of doing something about it. It can change. It's still up in the air. And there's a lot of that feeling of hope, but it's a very uplifting record and very influenced by the work that Reggie and I do. And I'm really proud of it. It's the best thing I've ever done. So very, very happy about that.
Oh, amazing. Well, we can't wait to hear it. And yeah, this sounds really beautiful. And I'm really glad that like Reggie is not here, but he's also very much like here in the virtual space with us. Yeah. And just so people know, Reggie has no Wi-Fi because he is snowed and iced in Michigan. And he says apparently there's 500,000 people without power today. So maybe we can like send a little extra love and care and sing extra loud for Reggie and all those folks. Yeah. And with that being said, could we do the song one more time?
Yeah. Is everybody ready? You got it?
We got it.
Hey, maybe I'll play the melodica part better this time. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my heart is broken. The work is never done. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun, but then my heart is still beating, beating. That's where the hope comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my feet are tired. The race is barely run. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun. Within my feet, they start moving, moving. That's where the hope comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my hands are weary. The work is never done. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun. Within my hands, they start working, working. That's where the hope comes from. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my voice is faltering. The song is barely sung. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the rising sun. Well, then the people start singing, singing. That's where the hope comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where the hope comes from. Well, then the people start to singing, singing. That's where the hope comes from. Well, then the people start to singing, singing. That's where the hope comes from.
Woo! Thank you. And thanks, Phil, for adding in your melodica along with Greg.
Yes, maybe they played it correctly.
It was great. It was great.
Oh, I'm seeing so
Um,
many of my friends from Victoria, BC.
oh
Yay!
yeah, they Stick and Kathy.
Oh,
Hi.
yeah. And I'll be back, you guys. I just been disappearing because I've been so busy with this CD. So I'm coming back to sing with you guys.
Have you been singing in Victoria, BC, Greg?
Well, I've been on their broadcast, the Getting Higher Quality.
Oh, yes, we love it. Okay. I think
Happy to. So, yeah, they're awesome.
awesome. Um, we lost you for like 2 seconds, but you're back, so we're good. All right. Well, Greg, is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap up for today?
Well, I want to say thank you for what you are doing. And thank you to Joe Razi for not mentioning how badly she beat me at foosball. And that was years ago. And I'm just saying, don't bring your wallet when she goes to the table. All right. She is just killer. So I want to say that, and I want people to remember the name Flonzie Brown Wright, and hopefully you will go look up her story because that's where that song came from her pain and her struggle, and I'm the publicist. So so thank you all so much, and Jaden, thank you. And I will see you guys somewhere down the road. And greggreenway.com, you can get all kinds of stories.
Thank you so much. I think somebody put Fonzie Brown Wright's name in the chat. So yeah, thanks for bringing this this new educational material to us in an uplifting way. And we can't wait to have you back again. It was so wonderful talking with you today and hearing your song. And thank you everybody in the room for being here today. you can stick around a little bit. We'll talk about Santidotes after we go off live, if there's any questions about that. But otherwise, thanks everybody for being here. Help me say goodbye to Facebook Live, please. Bye. Thank you for watching, everybody on Facebook. And thank you, Susan in Seattle, for being here. Thank you, Anne in Nashville, for joining. I love those flowers behind you. Dory and Ollie, I'm glad you joined today. I mean, Dory's always here. Ollie, I mean, thanks for being here. Carolyn in Boise, who has a, oh, it's Reggie Harris. Yay. He is here.
I co-produced that.
Oh my God. Amazing. Yeah, I love that this, it was like supposed to be Reggie's Day and it ended up still kind of being Reggie's Day because you talked about him so much. Thank you, Sarah in Texas, for joining today. Bob and Mabel and the Bears, good to see you as always. Christian and Bob, lovely to see you. Mom and Papa Curly Tops, goodbye. Thank you. And Arlene in Berkeley, thanks for joining. Pauline and William in Newcastle, thanks for being here today. Willard with an Alice May elbow in the picture. Oh, there she is. There's her face. Hi. Hi and bye. Becky, thank you for joining today. Kevin in DC, good to see you. Leah in Illinois, thanks for being here. And Jim in New York City. Deborah in Kentucky, good to see you today. Much love. Bonnie in Boise, good to see you. Fred in Silver Spring, hello, goodbye. I don't know why I'm saying hello, it's goodbye time. Amanda and Miles and your cute bear, I think. Cute stuffed thing. We love to see it. Gary, thanks for being here. Storm, good to see you as always. Linda in on Orcas Island, good to see you. And Annette in California and in Silver Spring, good to see you. Phil and Totnes, awesome melodica playing. I'm sure it sounded great. And I think that is Jackie in Baltimore. Thank you for joining today. And Hoda, yeah, good to see you. Hoda in BC, thanks for joining. Kathy in Virginia, also holding up a CD. I wonder what it is. Is it Reggie? Is it Greg? Is it Reggie and Greg together? Yay. Beautiful. Anne Wright. Oh yeah. Oh, it's deeper than the skin. Okay, that's fantastic. Lots of promo today. Oh, that's gorgeous. And you can like see more. There's links in the chat, you know. Who was I saying goodbye to? Anne Wright, thank you for joining today. Jamie, thank you for joining. Sarah in Massachusetts. Not sure if you're new, but if you are, feel free to stick around and we'll welcome you and say hi and everything once more people have left. And Jean in Pittsburgh, thanks for joining. Dick and Kathy, so good to see you today. Joe, thank you for doing all the things and supporting us. And Jane in Texas, good to see you today. Lynn in Connecticut, thanks for joining. Deli, lovely to see you. Carol in Connecticut, bye-bye. And Nancy Schimmel, good to see you. And Penny and Ralph in Victoria, goodbye. Oh, Diane in Puerto Rico, thanks for joining today. Harriet and Nancy N with the cow, so glad you could come today. Aloysius, thanks for joining. Caroline in DC and Marcia and Amos, whose birthday was yesterday. Thank you all for being here. And one final goodbye to Facebook Live. Bye.